Hi. Thank you for attending today's reading. Let's begin. First time dropping LSD. Story time. So back in October I made a decision that would forever alter my life. Sometimes I look back and think, could I have made a better decision? Or series of decisions, to be at a better place today that I aim to be? Quote. That decision, that one moment where my life changed completely, was dropping that tab of acid. At this point my friend group one by one tried acid. Some did it together, others alone, others with others, once or multiple times. Safe to say we don't care about our bodies. I hadn't become interested in trying it until my one friend, Blister, which isn't his real name, had taken a tab and told us all how great it was. "Sid's the new norm," he said. It became controversial for a time. Half the group, including myself, were freshmen, and the thought of a 12-hour-long journey into our mind frightened us. But curiosity got the best of me. Thinking, oh, weed has made me so much more mature and sociable. I'll give it a shot. Plus everyone else would not stop talking about how great it felt. And how it wasn't even addictive. Bullshit. Everything's addictive. So Blister hits me up one day and wants to skip school to drop a tab. I'm allowed to skip one day a month on my mom's word. So I took the opportunity. Because he was the one with the plug. This was the second time we skipped school to do drugs. But the first time being just a never-ending smoking sesh was much less intense. Only thing is now I was allowed to skip. So he comes to my house after my mom goes to work. And we're sitting out back and hit this girl up. She used to go to school with Blister in the high school but moved away before I became a freshman. They were talking for a little bit and she says that it's gonna be a while till she's actually mobile. Gives us an estimate of 12. Lunchtime. Now we were hoping to get these tabs swallowed by 9 o'clock so we could trip up to bedtime and be slump for the next school day. But we heard 12 o'clock and decided that was okay. Because then we could smoke a blunt and eat Subway before we went crazy. Done deal. Only problem is, after Subway it's already 1 o'clock and she hasn't hit Blister's phone yet at all. Making matters worse, she hadn't responded to a checkup text Blister had sent an hour earlier at 12 o'clock. So we have no choice but to wait at my crib. And considering me and Blister weren't very close yet, it was pretty quiet and awkward. I didn't know how to impress or entertain him and it all became more casual after I would smoke him up. Which was whatever. I'm not stingy with my weed. But it kind of sucked because we're chilling from the morning all the way up to 5 o'clock. That's right. 5 fucking o'clock. Pulling up in a ghetto-ass minivan is the plug. Finally, we dap her up and take the product. And rush into my room. Sitting on my counter were 2 beautiful pieces of paper. For the life of me I can't remember the design. But if Blister texts me back and lets me know if he remembers, maybe I'll be able to tell you in the comments. So this is the time we wanted to be at the peak of our trip. But we hadn't even consumed them yet. And that was some red flag type shit. School the next day tripping balls. Fuck no. Except when I say fuck no. I'm kind of like, fuck. Maybe. And that's what I did. I took a tab at 5 o'clock. My heart was thumbing like a motherfucker. That bitch was pumping through my chest. Cold as fuck out, but I was still sweating. Mind you, I was high off tree this whole time. Always was. So I was a little extra paranoid on the top. A little fucking cherry on top all my problems. Me and Blister are walking around with this guy, Broccoli, who throughout my life was kind of my best friend. Now we're walking around and it's 7 o'clock and I don't feel shit. Blister's going off about how they're fake tabs. Which scares me even more. Because I don't know if I'll even get to experience this or not. So when it hits me, I may not be prepared. The sun was setting and it was kind of dark. And we all just kind of sat on this bench at the church down the road. When all of a sudden I saw a spark. Like a spark of electricity. On God. I freaked out. But in a good way. Both of the two called me stupid though. After that I gave up. Thought they were fake. It was about 9 o'clock when that thought was out of my mind. I don't know what the fuck I was doing when that shit hit me. But when it did, I was not there. No, the first time you smoked? Like that, but triple. I legitimately could not make my own decisions. And I started crying from laughing. HMU if you want the video. Immediately calling everyone in my contacts on FaceTime. Laughing and crying. At this point I remembered that I had taken acid and that I had done so with Blister. We had split up not that long ago, and during my FaceTime spree he was the last to come. And I told him to get his ass over here because this was amazing. Fuck. You wouldn't believe it. The door opened and closed downstairs. My dog barked and my sister screamed. I ran down and saw it. My fucking dad. First time I've seen him in years. I was on acid. Somehow he didn't find out. I was just crying and laughing at everything he said. It was then and there I understood. It was my sister's birthday. I ran outside and saw Blister down my sidewalk. As we shook hands we just started geeking. Absolute mind-melting laughing. He took me on an amazing journey that felt like ages. Except he walked me down an alley and to his house over a span of 5 minutes. I remember his brother and girlfriend were outside at the time and they understood what I was going through. You're in for a long night, little man. I went home after my mom called and I was a little more calm now that I understood my situation. My dad even left pretty soon and I was in the clear. The night went well. At first I FaceTimed everyone I was close to and more. Eventually, everyone fell asleep. It being a school night and all. I became terribly bored and had no video games to play. Stuck on my phone all night. Blister had sent me some trippy videos that surprisingly occupied me for about an hour. Until he fell asleep and stopped answering my calls. Or he ignored me lol. It was just me. And my dick. Haha. Yeah. Sorry. That's gross. But it's true. Ask anybody. Or even me. But when you take acid. Especially alone. You are so fucking horny. I whacked my shit about 6 times throughout that night. And I came very close to meeting up with a hooker. I tried to sleep multiple times. Too. But I just felt too excited. Eventually, 6 a.m. rolled around and I had to get ready for school. I'm not going to talk much about it. But I was still tripping. 15+ hours later I felt my brain caving in on itself. Not like a euphoric LSD trip. But more of a sleep-deprived but LSD-enhanced mood. I guess. Eventually I calmed down. But during first class 1 had a project that was entirely by myself and on the computer. And on a topic I was familiar with. WW2. Everything else was great. People know I was in crackhead mode. But that was coolin'. Besides 4th block. When I had to play guitar and the notes looked like fucking Chinese. But hey. Anyways. That was my story of dropping LSD the first time. If this gets some attention I'll write follow-ups and even other stories if anyone would like. But I breezed through this one because I don't picture anyone even taking the time to read it. End of story. That is all for today. If you want to support my automated channel feel free to drop a like and subscribe. See you tomorrow.